last SummerSlam there was Roman work. I see Alex there. I'll let him go.
John Cena. he's due to come back. He's got a year of wrestling to do. Cody is either Cody is going to lose because the Bloodline are getting involved and Cena saves him, or
Cena
they're beating up Cody afterwards and Cena saves him.
Maybe Survivor Series isn't Bloodline versus Bloodline. Maybe it's going to be Cody, Randy, Kevin Owens, Jimmy, John Cena versus the Bloodline.
Acknowledge me!
Hello and welcome back to Bitchin About Wrestling. I'm your host Kenan and you are joining the Wisemen of WWE. Joining me from the Bitchin About Wrestling team, we have Neil, the tribal boss. I acknowledge you. How you doing, Neil?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Very good. Also joining us, we have Alex. How you doing, Alex?
Good evening, Kenan. Looking forward to SummerSlam. This is going to be an awesome one. I can feel it.
Just feel it in the bones, exactly. And also joining us from quite an absence, we're welcoming back, is Ryan. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing very well, Kenan. And yourself?
Yeah, good. You just put us to shame with that wall behind you. So if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, you really need to head over to YouTube and watch the video of this, because Ryan's display of his WWE belts is just phenomenal. It is just amazing. So that's a reason to head over to YouTube, watch the video, hit like, hit subscribe, and follow us. It's a perfect segue. Thank you very much.
The more likes it gets, the less my wife will be against the idea of more belts.
Well, that's it. The more likes, maybe we can start making a little bit of money off the show, and then we can invest it into more belts. So if you want to,
got a whole section that I can see over there that's just empty. There's no titles. There's no nothing. You got room.
It. There's room. Oh, awesome.
I'll just knock that on the floor. The Cody Rhodes.
Oh, the Cody belt.
The envy is growing, Ryan. I don't like it. It's not fair. Oh, I've got so much nothing on my back wall that I have an image of Raw and Smackdown.
Yeah.
Sorry, well, Jen, we did our wills recently, and Jen said, if I die, there's going to be an auction for my belts to the cheapest bidder. So
she couldn't be any more against it.
Well, my background is pretty much just like nostalgia stuff. So it's like Lego, it was movie stuff, because this is kind of like a temporary office space for me at the moment. I say temporary, it's been like that for a couple of years now, but eventually I'm gonna have a bigger office and it's gonna be more movie related. But I realized it's like I'm doing this wrestling podcast, got nothing wrestling related behind me, so I was like, I need to get some t-shirts, I need to get some caps or something. And I spoke to the wife about getting a belt, and she goes, yeah, okay, I can understand that. Okay, you can get a belt. So hit me up in the comments, whether it's on this video, on Spotify, or hit me up on Twitter, bitching about WWE. Let me know what WWE belt I should go for to sit in the back. Probably I might have it hanging up on the wall here on the side. I think it's a nice spot for the belt there. So hit me up in the comments. Let me know what belt we should get me.
I already know what belt you should get.
Yeah. All right. Sound off in the comments. Right. So on this episode, we are going to wrap up everything that happened on Smackdown and Raw this week. And then we're going to be doing our predictions for WWE SummerSlam 2024. So let's head straight into Smackdown. Let's do a quick Smackdown review. It opened with LA Knight and Santos Escobar one-on-one. And in the final moments of the SmackDown opening matchup, LA Knight sent the United States champion Logan Paul flying off the apron, who tried to interfere before overcoming Santos Escobar with a BFT. Thoughts on the match, guys, and that build up for that match?
Nah, nothing.
A bit like all of SmackDown was a bit by the numbers. Very basic build up to what's going to be a match where we hope LA Knight's going to win. But yeah, I don't know. I felt the whole of SmackDown was a little bit flat for me.
Yeah, agreed.
I think I said this the other week that the worst episode we've had since WrestleMania was the Monday Night Raw after Mania, and everything else has been fire since then. But SmackDown just didn't bang for me, and this match was probably the best match of the night.
Yeah. Ryan, do you think Santos Escobar is going to feature in SummerSlam at all? Do you think there's going to be any interference by him? Because he's played heavily into this kind of trio the last couple of weeks.
Quite possibly. I mean, I was just literally thinking about Santos Escobar and weirdly Pete Dunne and what's his name on Raw?
Sheamus,
yeah. So there's a caliber of wrestler at the minute that seems to consistently lose all their matches, but is really prominently featured.
It's true.
Like Finn Balor as well, and it's like somehow they're still credible. It was just, but Escobar fits that mold perfectly for me. Where I can't remember the last time he won.
That's a good point, actually.
It's that kind of thing we've got at the moment where the talent pool is so good in WWE right now. Somebody's got to lose, and if they haven't got a story for them, they're going to shove them in that position they lose. But because we all hold them to such high regard, it's like it's sad that they're losing, but who else is going to lose? We don't have any proper jobbers anymore. So, everybody is something of credibility, so someone's got to lose.
Yeah. The name I was thinking of was Carmelo Hayes.
Yes, Carmelo. I imagine that... I mean, we're going to get into predictions and things later, but I imagine that Santos will be challenging for the US title.
Right, okay.
That's exactly what I think. Logan Paul will, and no spoilers from what I think will happen later, but I think he'll be the next challenger. So
right, okay. Either next, all right. Then we had the WWE Tag Team Championship #1 Contenders Gauntlet match, and it started with Baron Corbin and Apollo Crews with a Legado del Fantasma. And Apollo Crews escaped a wing clipper attempt by Angle and set up Baron Corbin to hit the End of Days to win the first match in the Gauntlet. So then we had the Street Profits come out and they overcame Baron and Apollo Crews and they continued through. So then we had Street Profits versus Pretty Deadly. The Street Profits came out top on there as well. And the Street Profits then defeated the OC in the Gauntlet match. So you can see they're winning, which means there's only going to be one outcome. The Bloodline, Jacob Fatu and Tamatonga came out and defeated the Street Profits to become the #1 contenders for the DIY's WWE Tag Team titles. Thoughts on the Gauntlet match? I know Alex, he wasn't a fan going into it, and I think he felt that he was justified afterwards as well.
I said this last week. I don't like Gauntlet matches because they're by the numbers. And this Gauntlet match, even though a little bit more exciting, was still very much by the numbers. It would have been better if the Bloodline was first.
Can you imagine if they decimated every team? I mean, not even just decimated, but even if they cheated, they could have cheated some, win some naturally, but go through them all to put, again, that real threat on them. I would have bought into that.
I think I texted you lot during the match when I'm justified. Yeah, Gauntlet matches are crap. I don't like them. I'm done with Gauntlet matches. So especially because there was no surprise on that outcome, especially when they came out last. If they came out first, you might have been like, "Ooh, someone else could beat them." But once they were coming out last, there was no doubt. So meh. Even though it was a good match, the wrestling involved was good because you put all those people in a ring. Of course, it's good. But they might as well have just given them the title shot, but whatever.
Yeah, I prefer when it comes to kind of this with the tag teams, either rivalries get picked or they just do like a knockout tournament to become, #1 contenders. And you just have matches week on week to build you up until you get that #1 spot. I'd be a fan of that. Neil, what do you think of the Gauntlet match?
I mean, the match itself wasn't anything to write home about, but I knew this was going to be the result.
Yeah,
I'm sure I said it last week. This is going to be the result. I was like, and all we're really waiting for is either this Friday they're going to win those titles, or there'll be like a pre-show match on Saturday and they win then. But
no, I think they've got I think they've got a title match. Yeah, they've got a title match on Friday on Smackdown. Yeah, so that match is confirmed. Yeah.
Well, so they have it.
they should be walking into SummerSlam behind Solo with those
some
dolls.
gold.
I would have thought. Yeah, exactly. Ryan, anything to add?
No, I just kind of reiterate it massively deflates you whenever you're watching it, because most of the time you've got, the Street Profits came in second, then they're there last, and it's like, oh no, now the bad guys have come out. It's like, I get it from a perspective where you're like, oh, the hero has to beat someone now, but it's just so deflating, because you're like, any logical person would know they're going to get destroyed by the Bloodline, so that all the suspense goes from it. So the idea of having the Bloodline come in first and dominate everyone, then the Street Profits come out and everyone's like, yeah, the Street Profits will beat them. Like, that's just a lot more exciting pitch for me. But I mean, it is what it is. Like, I can see why they did it. It's typical WWE booking, where it's like the babyface in peril. Oh, they didn't quite make it. Like, I get it.
God.
I do have an
Alex?
honorable mention for that match, though.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob Fatu's moonsault.
Oh, yeah,
How?
It's prettier than the prettiest moonsault.
You know, it's just unbelievable. I don't understand how a guy that massive can pull something off that. We've seen big guys do moonsaults before, but that was like some proper hang time with a proper full rotation. Like, you know, he's been watching the Olympics this week and been like, right, I'm inspired.
It's unreal. Some of the clips
But this is
on
where-
YouTube of him.
Yeah, he's been the MVP of SmackDown for the last few weeks since he's arrived. Really,
if Jacob Fatu was in another promotion, he would already be a champion.
Yeah, agreed.
And like Ryan said, if you watch some of his highlight reels, you know when he does that Samoan drop where he basically flicks them into the air and catches them. He did that to Bronson Reed, and there was space between Bronson being in the air and Jacob Fatu waiting to catch him, and there was space between them.
Yeah, it's a proper WWE game of a move where you like turn down, like, you remember that where they had weight classes and you turn Big Show down to cruiserweight and then fuck him off into the air. It's exactly the same as that. I'll find the clip for you and send it.
Yeah, Jacob Fatu, he's like a cheat. He's a cheat code. Right, so then we had in the main event, we had Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax versus Bayley and Mitchin. Before the match started, Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax kind of attacked Mitchin, kind of put her out, so it was a little bit like of a 2-on-1. Tiffany nailed Bayley with the Money in the Bank briefcase and paved the way for Nia Jax to pick up the win just 1 week before SummerSlam. And thoughts on that match, guys, and the outcome? It's one of those things where whoever's standing tall at the end of a episode prior to an event, you think, okay, the other one's going to win, but we do have another SmackDown before SummerSlam. So if Bayley is standing tall at the end of this week, you kind of think maybe, I mean, I know what my predictions are, but what do you guys think of the match, and how do you think that builds on the story? Alex, Neil, I'll come to you first.
I think they've done Bayley dirty since she won that title. I think they had because the storyline of her winning the title was so kind of, I guess you could say, impactful. It was a good story. They've given her nothing since then. The closest they had to it was, I cannot remember who she was cutting a promo on, but she was saying to them, she was like, yeah, I know what it's like to be in your hometown and feel that hometown crowd.
Piper, wasn't it, for Scotland?
Yeah, I think, yes, that's it. Piper and everything. She was like, I know what it's like to go to your hometown and have all that support and then lose.
Yeah.
And other than that, she hasn't said. No, I mean, other than that, she hasn't done anything. What were you going to say?
Didn't Vince have a whole thing about it? He just didn't let people win at home?
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. Like 99%
very much a case
of
if
the
you were
time.
wrestling at home, you'd lose.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the thing with Bayley is I think the whole Bayley, I think the Bayley gravitas is tracing behind Cody, but just like 10-20% below that, in the sense where, this big build to Cody's title, this big build to Bayley's title, and they've both kind of dropped off on their sort of vibe, basically, on their aura, for both of them since winning that title, to a point where it's leading up to the fact where I think they're both going to lose their titles.
Yeah. I think I think it's a thing of, you're right, it is basically carbon copies of both. But the problem is with Bayley, she doesn't have a bloodline to make it more engaging.
No. Because the story's continuing from WrestleMania for Cody. So as much as it has finished the story, there's still threads feeding through. Like I say, Bayley's narrative hasn't been great, you know, and sometimes you forget that she is on SmackDown. You forget that she is that champion because the way they're dealing with the Women's World Championship on Raw is so prominent. There's just no comparison. So, Ryan, what are your thoughts on that last match and SmackDown this week?
When you were talking about Cody continuing his story, I just immediately had a Infinity Saga versus Multiverse Saga.
Yes. Roman Reigns is coming back, but he's not coming back as the tribal chief. He's coming back as Doom.
I commented on that Instagram post of RDJ coming out as Dr. Doom, going, I don't understand. It has 39,000 likes and over 1,000 comments, and I even got private messages from people explaining it to me. I'm like, Jesus Christ! First of all, Marvel nerds are mental.
Yeah, we are.
But also,
sorry about that.
But also, that's crazy. I'm a Marvel nerd too. I've been trying to figure out ways to go back and see Deadpool. Anyway, let's not talk about that now.
But, the thing that got me more like back on the world title, the destruction of the Money in the Bank briefcase, that was on SmackDown, wasn't it? Frankly, that was more interesting, just because like I think she's going to now get a custom Tiffy Money in the Bank briefcase, and I'm all on board for custom Money in the Bank briefcases.
Because it got broken last week, and then this week she came with it all taped up with pink and green tape.
Yeah.
And so Nia said, I will get you a new bag, a new briefcase.
Nice. Yeah. I mixed up the weeks. Yeah, okay. I forgot about that.
You know what?
That's going to be debuting at SummerSlam.
Yeah. So she can have a nice new case to cash in on Nia. That's what it'll be.
Well, I was about to say, it'll be Nia gives her the case, and she cashes in on Nia with that case. Oh, now that's storytelling.
Yeah.
That's storytelling, right?
Can you imagine if she actually, when she hands her the case, she knocks her out with the case as she presents it to her and then cashes in? That'd be amazing.
Unfortunately, it's too soon, but that would be absolutely brilliant.
That'd be amazing. Right. And that's pretty much SmackDown this week. So we'll roll on to Raw. But let's have a look back at Raw and everything that happened there. It opened with Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Drew McIntyre basically just talking each other down and building that match up. And for me, it worked. You know, Seth came out, his ref costume was just, it's so Seth Rollins. It was just brilliant. Got nothing to say about that.
I just didn't like the costume. Like I think, mind you, I'm not a massive fan of Seth
stripes.
Like,
sorry, zebra stripes. I think you'll find Cole. Yeah, it was a crazy outfit, but no, they show real intensity. The way that Punk looked at Drew when he came into the ring was brilliant, and where he stepped out, that felt real. You know, him stepping out and them calling him back in, saying, "No, you can't just have it your way." And yeah, it just feels different. And the way that Drew went into Punk is just like, I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to give you black eyes. I'm going to break your jaw. I'm going to make your heart stop beating. You know, it just felt intense. And, you know, he brings out the bracelet, you know, which Punk did not like. But yeah, Neil, what were your thoughts on that segment?
It's terrible because obviously, you know, my feelings towards CM Punk.
We do.
This is just lovely. It's just lovely. It's so well built up, so well defined. And I think I have to have a moment of appreciation for Drew McIntyre, because never in my existence have I seen someone who can perfectly work a story on the mic, perfectly work it offline, right? Obviously, we know in professional wrestling, doesn't really matter what company you work for. You've got friends here, you've got friends there. To be like, I'm going to take a picture with the guy who is the reason you got fired from this company you were in. I am going to take a picture with him. I am going to caption this picture with the sentence that he said that got you into that altercation to begin with. Do you know what? Do you know? I'll be blunt. There's one time that I've seen someone troll someone else better than that. And it wasn't in wrestling. It was a boxer who slept with his opponent's girlfriend before their fight.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's deep.
Right? That is the only time. I think his name is something like Adrian Broner or something like that. And it's the only time I've seen someone do something as just diabolical as
there was someone.
I've got better.
There was someone who did that to Logan Paul before their boxing match, and he
didn't sleep with him.
But he released loads of pictures of his fiance with all these other people and stuff. Yeah, that was.
Yeah,
I got better. Max Verstappen took Daniel Kvyat's seat at Red Bull, and then his girlfriend, and now lives with his girlfriend and his daughter.
Wow,
that is what is going on with the current Formula One world champion.
Wow.
I took your whole family.
It's like 4 or 5 years ago, and there's like
PKO.
He does streaming of him racing, and you see his daughter coming in and cuddles with his daughter and stuff like that. Yeah,
wow, that's a revenge tour.
That couldn't be me, because I'd be like, you would never finish your race.
Yeah.
Every time
Ryan,
you see me in your wing mirrors, I'm driving over you.
Yeah. Ryan, what did you think of the opening segment?
I love this. The fact that they've been able to build arguably the biggest feud in WWE at the moment, when they've not, both of them have been at different points on the shelf or not around, and they've still managed to build what is arguably the most compelling match on the card. Like that's a real testament to both of them. And I was thinking about it, like, because they popped up with like, oh, greatest return ever on WWE's YouTube thing, which I don't agree. CM Punk's coming back was the greatest return ever, but
No.
taking that on, he's only had one match since he's back.
He's been around. He's been back 9 months. I realized this. I was like, oh my God. It's crazy.
At the same time, it's the most compelling match for this year's SummerSlam. So WWE really took the long 9-month build to come back to CM Punk's first singles match back. But I'm here for it. Like, I'm a massive fan of CM Punk anyway. And Drew McIntyre has been completely underrated and disrespected because he should have won one of the Clash in the Castles. But I mean, it's kind of built. He's in this position now where it's like he's the heel, but he's got a fair point.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly that. He is the heel, but everything he says is valid. Alex, anything to add?
I'm with Neil. I'm not a CM Punk fan. In my eyes, CM Punk is the heel, and Drew McIntyre speaks nothing but facts. I mean, I love that he tried to sort of talk with Seth Rollins, which is a case of, we've got a competitive professional rivalry, but I hate CM Punk. You know, he doesn't hate Seth Rollins, but then Seth Rollins said that he hates both of them equally, which is brilliant, because the thing that this whole storyline has got me doing is, who's gonna win? Because, well, I know we're going to get to predictions later, and I might have a Neil style pause when you come to me, because I don't know. Because logically, you could have CM Punk win and get the big pop, and then Drew gets really peed off and it can continue. Or Drew sneakily wins it and we go again. So there's so many possibilities for a 9-month build that I just want more of. And it's then a case of when Seth's going to get involved.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah, go on, Neil.
Sorry, I was going to say, that's the thing, is in my head, it's what does WWE see as the next match? Is it Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins, or is it CM Punk versus Seth Rollins? Because if this was taking place at what was the last pay-per-view?
Money in the Bank.
If this was taking place at Money in the Bank, then I would say Punk would win, or Punk would lose and then face Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. because the next pay-per-view is not one of the big five.
Yeah,
I have no idea where this is going to go.
I have my thoughts, and it's based on what was said in the ring. So I'll come to that when we get into the predictions.
Okay.
We had some stuff with the Judgment Day. Liv had gone on a little rampage around the clubhouse and utterly destroyed it. She took back the PlayStation, and Carlito wasn't happy. He's like, "We're getting a new PlayStation, right?" He wasn't happy at all. Ray is like, "Why is he still here?" And yeah, Carlito just gold. Finn wants to face Gunther alone. He doesn't want Priest or anybody coming down to support him. But the Judgment Day say they still got to deal with Jimmy Uso and Sami Zayn. Carlito says, "I know what I'll do. I'm going to go see Adam Pearce." And we'll come back to that for later in the show. Alpha Academy versus the Creed brothers. The Creed brothers picked up the win. Chad comes into the ring afterwards, put the ankle lock on Otis. Maxine jumps in and tries to, take Chad off of Otis and ends up slapping Chad. And then the Wyatt Six appear. Well, four of them to the ring. The three gents, they take off their masks so we can see him for the first time. Abby, well, I say Abby the Witch, but Cole says something different later. So she's being referred to as Abby the Witch. She takes out Gable from the top rope, and the others take out the Creed brothers, kind of take him out. Uncle Howie's at the end of the ramp and scares off Chad Gable at the end. But then in the recap, Cole refers to Nikki Cross as Sister Abigail. Now, I don't know if that was a slip of the tongue, because he could have corrected himself later, or whether they've changed the name of the character. So, Ryan, what was your thoughts on that segment?
So I still love them. I think the slow build for it is working pretty well in a way that it kind of didn't with The Fiend, because The Fiend was presented as a mythical character. There wasn't really enough of Bray Wyatt's last return to get that. I know they were building to it, but at the moment they've presented them as like really dramatic, effectively, and really strong. But then, because not keeping the masks on this week kind of shows, okay, they're people too. And I think that was part of the problem with The Fiend, because like he's unbeatable. So the fact that they look really strong, but they're also human, I liked the fact that they took the masks off and didn't do the attack in the masks. One, it wouldn't have been practical. Like Rowan's beard would get in the way, so he had to take that off when he was doing a beard thing. But the Sister Abigail thing, I thought she was called Sister Abigail on previous episodes too.
I've only been referred to her as Abby the Witch, and like all the media has been Abby the Witch.
I haven't heard her referred to anything on the show.
Okay.
They haven't called her anything. Michael calling her Sister Abigail was the first time they've actually given her a name.
Given her a name. Interesting. Okay.
Because they haven't obviously mentioned that she's Nikki Cross either.
Yeah. Touching on Ryan's point, what I loved it, like you said, about making them real, Chad Gable to Adam Pearce later is like, I figured out who the rest of the Wyatt Six are. It's like these three people. He's like, yeah, they're under contract. I'm well aware of who they are.
I love that. So we've got Rowan, we've got Dexter Loomis, and who's the other guy? I don't know.
Joe Gacy.
Joe Gacy. Yeah,
I'm not familiar with Joe. Obviously, familiar with Dexter and obviously Rowan. But no, and we're actually going to get a six-man tag.
Six-man tag after SummerSlam. Yeah.
So the what's it called? The ring debut, which will be an annihilation.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I mean, the Creed brothers are, a pretty good tag team, and they've got some strength. So, but it'd be interesting to see how strongly they put the Wyatts across compared to them. That is going to be interesting to see. Then we had another segment with the Judgment Day. Carlito comes back very proud that he's taking care of the situation with Sami Zayn, because he set up a match with Dom, who was well pleased about that. And but he got told he needed to go take care of the Jey Uso issue and to have a one-on-one match with him, no support. And just a shout out to Mami this week, who looked incredible. Just an acknowledgement. That's it. That's the segment. Then the next we had...
I had to send Neil a particular video of Mami's social media this week.
Yes.
Because woman knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
She's like, lives up to her game. I've got to up my game now. But while we do talk about WWE social media, I have to bring this up because I'm the only one that brings it up every single week. Again, with... Tommaso Ciampa again backstage with Kevin Owens, because Randy wasn't there, and he tries to jump Kevin Owens. Kevin goes, "What are you doing? First of all, stop shouting that you're going to."
Exactly what I said last week.
But he's supposed to be out of nowhere, and then punches him in the balls.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like,
honestly,
thank you, Kevin, saying it for all of us.
I literally sit there and wait for these to come through, and it's just a masterpiece. I mean, I don't know how they're going to top that one next week, but we'll see. I hope it ends up in a match between Ciampa and Randy. It's not going to happen, but I'd love for it to happen. I can imagine it's probably happening at house shows.
Yeah,
and they're probably
maybe
having matches against each other in house shows, which would be very, very cool to see. But surely it ends with him, Randy catching him in an RKO. But
okay, it has to be.
it's a storyline that I don't think WWE are even behind, and I just enjoy it.
No, they're just joking around. But the wonderful thing is, I think this was years ago. I think it might have been 2 years ago. Before some of you gentlemen here we had that group chat.
Mm-hmm.
I think I booked like my ultimate WrestleMania, and I had Tommaso Ciampa, who was the Black Heart at the time, NXT's Black Heart. I had him versus Randy Orton as one of the matches.
Oh, right. Interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Right. Then we had Jey Uso versus Carlito with Jey picking up the win. Pretty straightforward match. Any thoughts on this one?
Carlito just makes me laugh. Everything he does, he just makes me laugh. And then he gets the apple, and then he gets speared and spews the apple out everywhere. I'm really glad it happened there. I don't like the spitting an apple in somebody else's face. It's disgusting. But yeah, it was a good visual watching the worst spear in wrestling.
That was going to be one of my 2 points on it. So worst spear in wrestling. You shouldn't take Roman Reigns' move. Like for that point, just stick with a super kick. I get it, except maybe because he does 36,000 of them a match, it could be a finisher.
Yeah.
It's the splash, isn't it? The splash is his finisher.
It's the splash.
Yeah.
I suppose you need something that isn't off the top rope, and they've just said, "Well, your cousin did a spear. You can do a passable one." There you go.
Yeah, it's like Dominic's 619. It's just bad. It's just it's not good.
But you know what
it's not bad. It's just not Rey Mysterio.
Yeah,
he's just no fast. There's no speed. There looks no power.
No, because even the Swiss 19 was better.
Yeah.
The Swiss one
and Zelina Vega's is better as well.
Cesaro.
Oh, I never knew that. Okay. I mean, Selena's tiny, so she can ramp up the speed. Oh,
she gets through those ropes really easily. Yeah.
She can't do anything at the moment. She got murdered by.
Well, that's it. So that was the next segment. Zelina Vega. She was attacked by Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler, and Sonya Deville backstage, and they just keep tearing this woman down. And he's just putting her on the back burner until this Rhea Ripley Liv Morgan thing is done, and then she'll step maybe back into that title picture, which would be nice to see.
I mean, I liked what they did with that because it was really uncomfortable.
Mm.
The way they sort of she was like yelping to like let go of me, blah blah. It was a bit disturbing on the way that they just dealt with it, which is what I like about this group is they're just not nice people, just going out there committing crimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We had The Miz being announced that he's going to be the host of SummerSlam, and he had a great little skit of one back and forth with R-Truth. It was good to see him back on form. I just prefer R-Truth on the mic and in backstage segments than I do in the ring. I just want more of that. Then we had Xavier Woods versus Karrion Kross. I don't care. Does anybody else care? I don't care.
Weirdly,
I mean,
it's going to pop this week, slightly for his finisher. Like it's a couple of other weeks, it's all been hits a finisher, nothing. Which is such. I feel bad for him each time. And this week there was a little pop. So. Yeah, it may be going somewhere, but I hope it ends soon, and I kind of hope Xavier turns heel.
Yeah,
I think the most interesting thing about the match was his backstage segment after it, where he was like, "Oh, like I'm not done, and neither is the New Day."
Yeah, but it needs to be. I mean, you've only got one of the New Day left. Kofi Kingston apparently came back in Japan, but apparently he was re-injured. I don't know if that's because he had time off and then just went out to Japan and that's the storyline, or whether he actually was due back and then he got re-injured. So I don't know.
However, it makes me sad because I did see a video resurface last week from like before the show started at Money in the Bank with Big E came out and did his New Day entrance.
Yeah, he did.
And I was just like, oh, I miss you so much.
Yeah,
It used to get me so hyped, and I really miss that.
Yeah, the fact that he's around, I'm surprised he hasn't been more around ring or backstage with Xavier Woods in this instance. It's a bit surprising, so I don't know what the situation is. Because he's on the pre-show and stuff. Yeah, exactly. It felt really sad. It's like, Big E's voice has the intro, the New Day's music, and it's just Xavier Woods coming out. And it's like, it just doesn't feel right. Yeah. Then we had Sami Zayn versus Dirty Dominic Mysterio. The Judgment Day came out during the match and ended up assaulting Sami in the match, ending a DQ. Jey Uso came down for the rescue. And then Bron Breakker came down, attacked Sami from behind, and he went to go for the spear, but Sami caught him with a big boot, exploded her into the corner, took Bron Breakker out. Bron tried to get back in the ring again, and Sami, got him back out of the ring again to end out on top. That match, guys, any thoughts?
Match was good, but before the match, we had a Bron Breakker promo.
That was a good promo.
Thing.
Yes,
was a really good promo. I don't know why, and it's a bit of the story is a bit muddled, but it very much felt Rocky 3. A bit like almost like in the case of
that's the story
focused. And this is what I mean, because obviously it was very much Rocky on the way to WrestleMania, and it's not quite the right way, but it's got those kind of vibes to it.
It's got the beats.
Yeah, he's going to kill Sami. I don't see Saturday being a good night for Sami.
The only thing I needed was for someone to say to him, so what's your prediction for SummerSlam? Just look at the camera and say, pain.
Yeah.
Someone said that Rocky 3 wasn't a good movie to me the other day, and I got very, very upset because it's one of my favorites.
You should stop.
I hope you deleted this. You should, no.
He runs my F1 podcast. I can't delete him, unfortunately.
Look, no. I tell you what you do, right? You just next time you give him a bottle of water, just put holy water in it.
It's because we have an argument between being a Sly guy or a Stallone guy or a Arnie guy. And I'm more of a Sly guy than an Arnie guy in that movie war, and that's why he came up with that.
Interesting. Okay.
I mean, I think you're wrong. It's Arnie.
I'm an Arnie guy.
Yeah. It's my childhood. I don't mind being wrong, in your opinion.
Your opinion is factually wrong.
I like them both.
Yeah. That's for Creative Control podcast. Right. So now, Rhea Ripley, she shoots on Liv Morgan. That was, again, a good backstage segment from her. And what was interesting is right after that, they showed the Rhea Ripley card. You know how they show the cards of them sometimes before they go to commercial? And it had Rhea Ripley, Women's World Champion. And I was like, oh, that's either an error or, a prediction.
But before that was Liv Morgan's lost her fucking mind.
Yeah, she's lost her shit. She's burning all Dom's shit.
The visual for this was brilliant. So you had a truck behind her with Dom on it, and then she's burning all the stuff that she's sort of made for him and done for him and photos and stuff for him. Proper psycho stuff. And then it obviously fades up to Dom's face on the truck. Absolute brilliant, especially because it's a complete diversion because he is so turning on Rhea on Saturday. I will eat my microphone if that doesn't happen.
Oh, I don't know if it's going to go that way. We'll come on to that. We had then Lyra Valkyria, Caden Carter, and Katana Chance versus Sonya Deville, Zoe Stark, and Shayna Baszler. 6-woman tag match. Sonya and the team picked up the win. And then Damage Control came out afterwards. A brawl ensued, and they were standing tall at the end of it. So, 3 little factions going on there and fighting each other. Do you guys into it? I think the Sonya and the team, I think, again, they need a name. But I think, generally looking quite good. Damage Control being back and, getting people's business. Are we fans?
I'm a fan of these 3 women being the dominant female faction. Because then because the thing is they'll never be in a position where they have to face their equivalent face team, because Bianca and Jade are on SmackDown.
Yeah.
So they have that luxury of not having to face them. And it's just because that's not going to happen at the moment, they can just brutalize the women's division. And as long as it's like, okay, you keep forming these little factions of women to try and face off against them, and they just keep getting dominant and dominant and dominant and dominant, it allows you to be comfortable with them being there as that.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Any other thoughts?
It's another 3-person stable, and I'm here for it. I do like stables. I think it's usually a really good way to get people on the show, even if you've got nothing really for them, like Carlito and the Judgment Day, for example. Like he makes a quip, which is 2 seconds of it, and everyone talks about him, even though he didn't do anything else on the show. But going back to them, great group. I like them, and I like the idea of a 3-on-3 match. I was just thinking, you can never really do. I can't wait till the women's mid-card titles come in, because then you might actually get 4-person stables, because then they'll be able to do the all holding up the mid-card title, world title,
or a 3-person tag belt.
Yeah, they have that in AEW, don't they? 3-person tag team championship, trio championships.
More people involved.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The trio title counts for the Triple Crown in AEW.
Oh, interesting.
Because Kenny Omega
AEW hasn't been going long enough to have that kind of.
No, but Kenny Omega's won it all, though.
Yeah, he has. So they confirm next week that Dakota Kai will go one-on-one with Sonya Deville. So we'll see what results there. Then we had Gunther versus Finn Balor, and Gunther cut a really good promo beforehand, talking the empty arena. Just, again, reinforcing that, he is going to bring respect back, and the fact that Damian Priest is kind of ruining the legacy of the World Heavyweight Championship, and he's using WWE as a vehicle to resolve some of his childhood trauma. I thought that was really, really well done. Really well done. But yeah, it was a good match between him and Finn Balor. Finn Balor's chest was cut open. That was nasty. But ultimately, Gunther picked up the win via submission. Priest came down to save Finn after Gunther put him back into the sleeper hold just to add more pain, and ended up in a brawl to end the show. So thoughts on that final match and everything that took place, guys?
I like the destruction.
Yeah. I love the finish. I think to finish it with just putting him to sleep. Because did he tap? I don't think he actually tapped, did he?
No, I think he just passed out.
He just went to sleep, didn't he? So I love that finish, because it's a case of, I'm being valiant, I'm not giving up, but my body's given up on me. I prefer that.
I prefer those. Yeah, agreed.
Even though it's highly unrealistic, because you do serious damage if you actually sleep like that. But
I mean, look. Yeah. Remember, Austin did it perfectly, where he just he passed out and didn't tap out, and then when he cut that next promo, everybody forgets that following the promo when he was like, "As far as I'm concerned, you didn't get the job done."
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't seen that.
Literally, right after that match, at like the next, I think it's the next Raw. He's just like, "As far as I'm concerned, you didn't get the job done." I was just like, "Ooh, yeah."
Yeah,
I've not seen that match. I keep meaning to see that match, and I've not seen that match. Oh God, Neil hates me even more now.
Get onto the WWE Network, I'm sure is there. Right, so that closed out Raw. So that is it. Now we are heading into SummerSlam. So it is time to do our SummerSlam 2024 predictions. Right, I've got the chart up, guys, with all the matches and what we're going to predict. So I'm going to start off with. Actually, I'll come back to this one. I'm going to start off with the United States Championship. Logan Paul versus LA Knight. Yeah. And Neil, we'll come to you first. Who's going to pick up the win?
Logan Paul is going to lose.
Right. So the answer to my question is LA Knight.
LA Knight.
He'd already
LA
started
Knight is
writing
going to
Logan
win.
Paul, hadn't he?
Yeah, I did. I was just like, come on, bro.
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. Yes. LA Knight.
I was like,
going to
oh,
win.
he's going for Logan Paul. Right. And how's he going to win?
He is going to win with a BFT. There will be shenanigans from Logan Paul. Somebody will be dressed as a Prime bottle, possibly, or Prime will be a feature in the match. Whether it's somebody gets hit with the Prime bottles or somebody is dressed as a Prime bottle, Prime will be a feature in the match.
But
And Logan Paul,
ring, right?
not the advert in the middle of the ring, and Logan Paul will absolutely positively try and cheat.
Okay. Ryan, what have you got?
So I just seen how many title matches there are on the cards and how many title changes I predicted. But this is one where if Logan Paul doesn't win now, like it's a big setback. Not Logan Paul,
LA Knight.
LA.
If LA Knight doesn't win this, it's a big setback for him. Although I
agree.
don't think it hurts Logan Paul. So for this, Echo Neil, pretty much the same thing. There'll be somebody dressed up. He'll try to cheat. The brass knucks will come in. I think the finish will involve him trying to get brass knucks, misses, and then BFT.
Right. Okay.
I
totally agree.
Okay.
I would imagine the brass knuckles will come out, and maybe, just maybe, Logan Paul will hit Santos with the brass knuckles, and that will lead to him losing. Santos will try and interfere in the match.
See, I think Santos will get involved in Monday Night Raw.
Okay.
I think Santos will stay out. I think Logan's got enough
on SmackDown, you mean?
that can get involved.
Yeah.
Sorry, on SmackDown. So I think Santos will be the first challenger, and he'll just turn up on SmackDown to challenge him. Maybe even say, "I left you alone. I let you win it. Come at me, bro."
Right. So so LA Knight for Alex as well, and my friend Lee, who has I've been chatting to WWE about. He sent through his prediction as well. Might come onto this podcast in the future, but he said LA Knight for the win via pinfall. Again, Logan tries to use the brass knuckles. Knight stops him and uses them on him for the win. So LA Knight might do that. And I've said LA Knight pinfall. I said Logan tries to cheat. I think he'll be accompanied down to the ring by a celebrity. Because this is his hometown. He's going to have a grand end. He's going to have a big entrance. But I think he's like the third longest reigning US champion or something now. So
because he's never there.
So he's it's time for him to lose it. Okay, so and who else? Rax, he went for LA Knight, pinfall, BFT. Logan tries to use the brass knuckles as well for the bonus point. Right, let's move on to Intercontinental Championship. Sami Zayn versus Bron Breakker. Rax, he went for Bron, pinfall, and it'll include 3 spears to finish the match. Alex, what are you going to go for?
Bron. Well, I've already said this. Bron's going to destroy him. I think it's to be clean. I think it's to be simple. I think it's to be quick. I think it's just going to be a case of Bron is going to be so pissed off about how he lost and talked about. He talked on Raw about Sami doing comedy shows and all this kind of stuff and not focused on the match. And he's gonna break him in the 3rd round. Okay. Nope, that's Rocky again.
Neil, what are you going for?
Bron victory. He's going to destroy Sami, but I think what it will be, I think one of the core elements of it is going to be that Braun not reverse it, like he learned from the mistakes he made at their Money in the Bank match. Right, so we'll see something similar to like how he lost that Money in the Bank, but he won't make the same mistake.
Gotcha. Yeah, so getting out of the way of the Hoover kick or something like that. Okay, good shout. Ryan, what are you saying?
Again, we're getting into territory with so many title changes that they're bound not to all happen. But the way I'd say it, again, like LA Knight, Braun's going to win.
Mhm.
Like Neil, he'll learn from his mistakes. I think the Huluva kick will be counted into a spear,
Mhm.
and he'll win that way.
Okay.
Duck underneath it or something.
Yeah,
Spear,
bounce off
yeah.
the ropes and run
Just
straight
blow
through.
through him.
Yeah.
Absolutely
And
blow through him.
Lee, he said, yeah, Bron Breakker, pinfall, and Sammy is squashed. Let's move on to the WWE Women's Championship. Bailey versus the Queen, Nia Jax. Ryan, I'm going to come to you first.
We're getting into that overarching narrative here of how many title matches there are and who I think is going to win. So I think Bailey retains.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Pinfall?
think Bailey retains. I think Tiffy tries to help Nia. It backfires, and Bailey retains.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've went for the same, actually. I put Bailey retain, interference by Tiff, maybe tease a cash in, doesn't happen, and then Bailey retains. Just because of the amount of championships potentially that could change hands. And I'm thinking maybe this one isn't. I wouldn't be surprised if Nia picks it, and I think part of me wants her to move on from that story, but maybe it's not the time. I don't know. Neil, who are you having?
My answer is dependent upon what happens on SmackDown.
You can't have that.
No, you're not having that.
I know. You'll understand in a minute, right? If Tiffany gets her briefcase on SmackDown,
Mm-hmm.
Bailey will win the match.
Okay.
No, sorry, Bailey will lose the match. If no, I'm gonna say Bailey will retain.
Okay.
Against Nia Jax.
Mm-hmm. Do you
Can I
think Tiff
change
will
my
cash
answer?
in?
If she gets her briefcase on Friday, she's cashing in.
Okay.
Can I change my answer to say my answer is dependent on what happens Saturday?
Yeah. Alex, what are you going for?
No, I'm going with Nax.
Nax?
Nia Jax winning the match.
Yeah.
Pretty clean as well. And Tiffy thinks about it, but doesn't do it and celebrates with Nia because I like this story of a way to turn Tiffany face.
Yeah, face, yeah.
Over Nia, and it just needs a little bit more time to cook.
Mm-hmm.
And because she's got the briefcase, it's got plenty of time to cook.
Yeah.
I don't think it needs to cook. Sorry, I know you were gonna say you be scared. I would say what as something I can envision, I can see the image in my head, is I see the match, I see Nia giving Tiffy her briefcase on Friday, I see them having the match on Saturday, I see Nia losing on Saturday, I see Tiffy cashing in and winning the title, and then while she's celebrating and Nia's there holding her hand up, Nia just clobbers the shit out of her.
Yeah.
And then we're like, immediate feud.
Yeah. I wouldn't be against that either.
I don't, with the way Nia has been portrayed lately, and again being Queen of the Ring, I don't see the Queen or King losing their matches.
Interesting.
And I think they'll have their. I think this is the thing. I've got. Yeah, there's going to be lots of title changes, but I just can't see it going the other way. I can't. Yeah, because the problem is if Tiffany cashes in on Bailey, that's a heel thing. It's not a Bailey.
Yeah,
face.
but then it's an immediate face turn if she gets clobbered by Nia. If the last image you have is the arguably one of the most popular females on SmackDown getting clobbered by one of the most hated females in all of WWE, based solely on fan base, that is an immediate face turn.
Yeah. I think that's why I'm going. I think I'm going Bailey is going to retain, but I think Tiff will then cash in. and we'll get a new champion that way.
Well, I hope I take all your points. So
yeah. Lee, he's gone for Nia Jax pinfall, Tiffle teaser cash in, but stop short. Okay, let's move on to Women's World Championship. Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley. I'll go first here. I'm Liv Morgan to retain, pinfall, and Dom costs Rhea, but I think it's going to be more accidental at this point. I don't expect the complete twists that other people are at the moment. So that's what I'm going with. Neil, what are you going with?
I'm going the same way. I'm saying Liv will win due to Dominic interference. And yeah, because what I can really imagine is Dom being like, "Oh, mommy, I'm sorry. Look, I've gone to Adam Pearce. I've got you another match." And
Rematch,
then that match, at that rematch, then he's like, "Nah."
Yeah, maybe. Raxi went for Liv, pinfall, Dom screws Rhea, so he thinks he is going to turn. Alex, what are you going for?
You know what I'm going for.
I'm going for Liv, pinfall.
I have not been backwards about coming forwards about this.
Yeah,
it is absolutely going to be a retain, and it is going to be Dom screwing over Rhea, because we will just never hear that man speak ever again, because he will just get booed into oblivion for the rest
That's what I want.
Life.
I just don't think it's going to go that way. I don't know.
I will be so disappointed if it doesn't happen. I will write a letter to Triple H complaining, and he'll put it in the bin with the rest of the
and he'll be here on
Bitchin About Wrestling.
Yeah. Ryan, what are you going for?
Again, Liv. I think much in the same way that Braun didn't win at Money in the Bank because they wanted him to win at SummerSlam. I think Liv wins and Dom screws Rhea.
Right.
Because
intentionally?
Yes, intentionally.
Yeah.
Because it is a much bigger platform to do that turn on than a random Raw.
Yeah, agreed. Okay. Right, let's move on. Excuse me. Where's that 1 minute? Let's go to CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre with special guest referee Seth Rollins. Alex, I won't put you under the pressure yet. We'll come back to you.
I was going to say, don't come to me first, for crying out loud.
I'll tell you. So,
steal their ideas.
Lee has gone for CM Punk with a pinfall, and Seth will stomp Punk after the match. Rax has said Drew pinfall, accidental pinfall. Seth screws Punk by accident, and then they'll both get claymored after the match. I'm going to go with CM Punk DQ, and I'll be like, something will happen where Drew goes too far and Seth uses his referee's discretion to stop the match because of how much he said he wanted to hurt and kill CM Punk. And the fact that Seth said like no DQs or, well, not no DQs, but it's referee's discretion. I think something will lead into the point where he actually probably needs to stop Drew from beating on him so bad. And that is potentially how we'll get. So CM Punk will get the win. Drew gets his beat down, but he doesn't get the win. So that's where I'm going with it. So, Neil, coming to you.
Similar vein.
To myself.
I imagine I see, because I see CM Punk winning, because I see the frustration on what I can see is them during the match. I can see Drew trying to recruit Seth to just be a biased referee.
Yeah.
He's like, remember what he cost you. Remember what he did. All the wrong moments. He cost you this. And then I can see like something happening where Drew, maybe like a wayward Claymore, catches Seth.
Yeah.
So that leads into Seth being like, Drew, you're gonna have to take a stomp for this one.
Mm-hmm.
And then there being like, for whatever reason, CM Punk covers him, and Seth is like 1, 2. And he's gonna be like, fuck's sake, 3.
Yeah.
And he's like, ring the bell, it's done. And then that leads into Seth versus Drew. Because he was like, you screwed me over because of this and because of this. Like, I envisioned the ending that we kind of thought we would get from Triple H versus Undertaker at WrestleMania with Shawn Michaels as a ref.
Michaels, yeah. Okay. Ryan, what are you going for?
CM Punk win.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I want Drew to win, this feud's got a couple of matches left in it.
Yeah.
And they're paying a hell of a lot of money to CM Punk for his first match back to be a loss.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, it's got to, I think, CM Punk. But Drew continues to beat down afterwards and demolishes both CM Punk and Seth Rollins after the match.
Right, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So, Alex, you got a mixture of opinions there, but what are you going for?
And I'm going for something different. No, so I think CM Punk's going to win. I agree on the whole case of it's CM Punk coming back, first proper match. He's not going to lose. But I think it's going to be because Drew is going to constantly be a dick to Seth, constantly not break up the calls, push him, blah, blah, blah. And Seth's going to snap on Drew because it'll be a case of, look, I've been cost again. So I think it's going to be a case of probably like a stomp from Seth or something like that. And then a quick 1, 2, 3 with CM Punk. I don't think it's going to be a simple, clean win because it can then be a case of, after it happens, CM Punk gets pissed off with Seth for getting involved, and they have a fight, ends up with the three of them trying to beat each other up, and that's how we end up with the triple threat match.
Yeah, it's funny because we have situations where it feels like Drew's on a real losing streak, but he did win Money in the Bank. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, actually, when you look at, and you know, he has had championship matches, so it's not that he can't afford to take the loss, but at the same time, like, should he be taking another loss, you know, back-to-back pay-per-views like this? So
losses don't matter, I don't think, in this.
But exactly, his status and where he is, I don't think it really matters. And they can play in that narrative. Again, it's that self-sabotage. He's going, rather than concentrating on Punk, he's getting Seth involved, maybe, like you say, and then that ends up costing him. So, okay.
Which will be a nice little turnabout, considering how much he was trying to tell Seth to mind your own business with the bloodline thing around WrestleMania.
Yeah, true that. Okay, so we have 2 matches left. We have WWE World Heavyweight Championship, Damian Priest versus King Gunther. Rax has gone for Gunther, pinfall, and Judgment Day screws Damian by accident. Lee has gone Gunther, submission. Finn will cost Priest. And I've gone the same, Gunther, pinfall. Finn interferes, cost Priest. Especially after what happened to Priest this week. He's going to be his ego is going to be hurt. And,
You mean Finn?
Finn, sorry. Yeah, Finn interferes and costs Priest. He's going to be very hurt because of what Gunther did to him this week. I was very tempted to actually go for a Damian Priest retain, but it's just a case of Gunther doesn't really lose. He lost at WrestleMania, but before that he hadn't lost for like 666 days or whatever it is. So for him to have a WrestleMania and lose, he's come back and won King of the Ring, yes, but then to lose on the next pay-per-view, I just don't see it. So it has to be something which interferes, which saves Priest a little bit. So that's the way I see it. Alex, what are you going for?
I'm going for a very clean Gunther win by pinfall.
Clean?
I don't think there'll be any shenanigans. I think it'll be clean because Damien will be very much a case of, you lot stay here, leave me alone. I have to do this by myself. And I think that's how it'll be. And then I think what that then leads to is the Judgment Day giving the I told you so's. You should have let us help you, blah, 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 which then leads towards the split up.
Okay.
Which I still don't want to happen, by the way. I don't want them to split up the Judgment Day. I like the Judgment Day. Judgment Day are up there as one of my all-time favourite factions.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want them to split up because I don't think they need to.
Okay, cool. Ryan, what are you going for?
Similar to Alex, relatively clean-ish win.
Mm-hmm.
There will be some interference from Finn or the Bobblehead Man part of the way through, but I don't think it's involved in the direct finish.
Right,
I think
okay.
they'll come down and it will carry on for a little while afterwards, and Gunther gets the win. But there's still then an argument saying you interfered, you distracted me, even if it wasn't directly involved in the finish. Yeah. So I think that's the way. Similar, Gunther doesn't lose. And,
Pinfall?
Yeah. Priest won't submit. So yeah, pinfall.
Okay. Cool. And Neil, what are you going for?
For the longest time, I've been thinking that Gunther is just going to win.
Mm-hmm.
But then I had a storyline development pop into my head right now where I was like, what if Finn interferes, Damien wins, and then for the rematch, Gunther's like, you see, you couldn't beat me by yourself. You needed your help. And then that is what leads to him being like, I told you to stay out of my business.
Yeah.
So, but then again, as you say, it's Gunther. He's so compelling. It's so difficult to imagine him just losing.
Yeah. This was my toughest one.
But you know what? Just to be different, because everybody has said Gunther wins, I'm going to just say Damien wins.
Okay.
I'm going to say Damien Priest retain, just to be different.
All right, cool.
Neil's thinking about the points.
Yeah. Right, so then we have the final match, Undisputed WWE Champion Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa. Rax has gone for Cody, pinfall, and he's got Paul Heyman, Jimmy, and Roman return after the match. So maybe like, Solo, you can do the job, and now we're coming for you. Lee has gone for Solo, pinfall, a Randy Orton heel turn on Cody. So, Ryan, what are you going to go for?
I was hoping you wouldn't come to me first. I think Solo's going to win. It's too soon for Roman to come back. I mean, he's been gone 3 months. That's quite a short break for Roman.
It's true.
But no, in all seriousness, you don't establish the bloodline as a faction, the new bloodline as a faction, unless he's world champ. If you go, he's won tag matches since he became the leader of the bloodline. Has he had a one-on-one match?
Him and Cody started to have one, and then it all ended in interference, so it didn't finish.
Yeah, so he's got to win this. Otherwise, where's his credibility?
Yeah.
That's probably the clearest thing for me. And if they don't, it's like, well, why do you have a new... The only possible way that it could happen for me is that Roman Reigns come back, and then you could have Bloodline versus Bloodline at SummerSlam, but it still feels like you've got
Survivor Series.
Survivor Series. But then you've got 4 months to build up to that, which seems too long. So,
So what's your bonus point in this match? So Solo, pinfall?
Solo pinfall, I would say Cody hits a crossroads on him, he kicks out, it goes to hit another one, counters immediately into a Samoa spike directly from the second crossroads.
Okay. All right. Neil, what are you going for?
Solo wins. Interference from Bloodline. New Bloodline member debuts.
Okay.
Is it the one whose name you can never remember?
Yes, the tall gentleman with the long afro curls. Him.
Okay.
Do you still not remember his name?
No.
He's going to do some research, bruv.
No, do you know what the thing is? It'll be like, we'll stop recording and then I'll instantly remember his name, and I'm like, "That's a son
Damn
of a
it.
Will he be wearing a nondescript black hoodie dressed as
Yeah, well, that's it.
debuts?
Yes.
I just missed the count, but the referee's voice.
Yeah.
No.
Alex, what are you going for?
See, I've been saying Solo has to win this match.
Yeah.
To for the exact same reasons that Ryan said it, which is that case of to establish the bloodline, Solo has to be the champion, because to build that feud when Roman comes back, look, I did what you couldn't do.
Yes.
And that's what I'm going to predict, because it's what I want
Mhm.
to happen and what I think needs to happen. I have a horrible feeling they won't pull the trigger, though.
Mhm.
I have a really, really horrible feeling they won't pull the trigger.
See,
What's your
you know-
bonus point? 1 sec, Neil.
So bonus point will be, there's going to be bloodline interference involved in it, and I think he'll do another load of 1,000,000 Samoan spikes like he did to Cena, like a execution style like he did to Cena.
Okay.
Go on, here. What were you going to say?
I was going to say that again, it harkens back to when Cody was in the build for his first WrestleMania match with Roman.
You aren't ready.
Yeah, you aren't ready.
That came
and they
up
were like,
this
they're
week as well,
gassing
didn't
you
it?
up. Yeah, it was gassing
That
them up.
came
You
up.
aren't ready.
Yeah.
I'm just like, man's ready
Came
now.
up on SmackDown. I'm pretty sure Cody have a promo. He said that on SmackDown, and I remembered that you said about that. So yeah.
Yeah. I was all for Solo taking the title at this point. However, I don't think they're going to take the title off Priest and Cody at the same time. So I think Gunther takes that title and Cody has to retain. But I believe Solo is going to win by a DQ. So I think what's going to happen is Randy and KO try and stop the bloodline interference, because there's 4 of them, 3 of them. And then Jimmy Uso comes out. He returns and he stops Solo winning the title, gets the DQ, and now Solo has to turn his attention to putting Jimmy in line with the bloodline moving forward.
Which frees up Cody to have a match against
Maybe
Randy.
against Randy or something like that. I also maybe predict that maybe Paul Heyman returns at this pay-per-view. Maybe with Jimmy or afterwards, or gives a tease about Roman coming back. I don't think Roman's coming back yet. I think it is too early. But I think my pay-per-view, my PLE bonus point is a Paul Heyman return. So have any of you others got a PLE bonus point? Any returns or anything that's going to happen? Alex?
I've literally just thought of it because I was just having a quick look at Instagram, and there is a Instagram from Charlotte Flair rolling around the ring in the PLE. So I'm now thinking, does Bailey win and then Charlotte comes back?
Maybe Tiff goes to cash in, but then
And
Charlotte
Charlotte
comes out
stops her.
and the music stops her from cashing in. Ooh, okay, so I'll put down a Charlotte Flair return. Neil, do you have a PLE bonus point? Without stealing
I mean, I said no. I mean, I said I said his current name is Haiku Leo.
Haiku, like the poem.
Yeah, Hiku Leo. He has a WWE name that's already been trademarked, and I think it's like we've got Tangaloa, we've got Tamatanga, and I think his name is something like Haiku Leo. Not Haiku Leo. This is his current name. Is like Haiku or Leo Tama or Leo Tunga or something, right?
I think he'll debut SmackDown after SummerSlam. So Jimmy will come back, and then Solo's like, I'm going to bring somebody else in now to keep our numbers higher. So yeah,
that's probably.
Okay, so Ryan, any PLE bonus point?
Can't think of one that's not just a direct copy. If I can do that, I'm
Go
going to
on.
go with Charlotte Flair returns. Even
I
though
don't think
I
that's
do about
fair.
elimination.
I tell you what, if she does, I'm going to give you half a point, as it wasn't original. So
No,
yeah,
I'm good with that. Honestly,
Okay.
like I do see Jimmy. If there is going to be a surprise return, it's Bloodline related. Cody Solo will close the show.
Mm.
I'm just trying to rationalize how Solo can win it, and then at the end of it, someone comes back and it not be Roman. Because like the last SummerSlam, there was Roman. What I see Alex there. I'll let him go.
John Cena. he's due to come back. He's got a year of wrestling to do. Cody is either Cody is going to lose because the Bloodline are getting involved and Cena saves him, or
Cena
they're beating up Cody afterwards and Cena saves him.
Maybe Survivor Series isn't Bloodline versus Bloodline. Maybe it's going to be Cody, Randy, Kevin Owens, Jimmy, John Cena versus the Bloodline.
Ooh, I like that. And then like a repeat of, was it last year or the year before, where Cena came back at the end of Brock Roman?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's not a
Brock
bad
Lesnar comes back, no.
Yeah.
I'll take a half point for that as well because I didn't think of Cena, but I think Cena at the end of the show.
Okay, so those are our predictions for SummerSlam 2024. Let us know what you think in the comments. What have we got right? What have we got wrong? What do you agree with? What return? Do you think it's time for Roman to come back? Is it too early? Let us know your thoughts. As always, we thank you very much for being here and listening to the four wise men talk about WWE. It's just something we love. So any support you can give us on our journey, we really appreciate it. If you can head over to our YouTube page at Bitchin About Wrestling and hit that like and subscribe, and you can catch Bitchin About Wrestling on Twitter, which is at Bitchin About WWE, and TikTok channel at Bitchin About Wrestling. Gentlemen, anything else you want to talk about today?
I'm going racing this weekend, so in the next week there'll be a video out on my YouTube of my events of whatever's going to happen at karting. So Alex Van Gene Racing on YouTube. Go and give me a like and a subscribe and click the notification bell and you'll get a notification when my video goes live. It's like I've said that before, isn't it?
Yeah, I say it every week, but I change the thing. I say it every week. So I still haven't nailed down a line which I repeat. But look, guys, thank you very much for being here. Love chatting wrestling with you guys. It's always a pleasure. Ryan, really good to have you back. And until after SummerSlam, where we will debrief and be talking lots and lots of news. So until next time, peace out.
Peace.